This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, is someone talking? Because I'm not getting any voice.
Hey, hi, good morning. So let's wait for some time, right? We haven't started the session, so
Sure.
a few more folks are about to join, right? We're just waiting for them. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, let's start. Okay, no problem. Let's start. Hey, hi, hi Raghu, hi Shiva. So fine.
Hi, good morning.
Before before I proceed, right? Yeah, you have any query? Okay, fine. So before I proceed, right, I just like to hear from you both, right? Are you working or are you uh, like are you working in any related to DevOps, or are you working in some other technology, or like are you a student? Just basic info about you. What's your name?
Yeah,
What are your
this is
profession?
Raghuram here.
Yeah.
So I'm into IT for the past 12 years, and my major stream is automation testing. So I'd like to
Mhm.
upgrade my skill to DevOps, so thought of attending this session.
Okay, fine, great. Yeah, thank you. Yes, you.
Yeah, actually, even I have the 5 years experience in infrastructure, the storage L2 engineer.
Okay. Okay, so complete
So
storage knowledge you
even I
have.
want to upgrade my skill.
Okay.
Yeah, from last 4 years I am on the storage.
Okay, great. No problem. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so before I proceed, right, coming to my name is Sagar. Okay, I have total 8+ years of experience in industry. Okay, so we have complete 8+ years in DevOps and Azure, where I have worked on different clouds as well, like AWS and GCP in my career. Uh, I've been working on this from 8+ years, where I have worked with different companies. I have been working with different DevOps tools. Okay, I have done multiple projects, and I also train for corporate as well as outside training institutes. So that's a brief intro about myself. And okay, let's proceed. So DevOps with Azure. Okay, so agenda for today is, this is the agenda for today. Okay, let's check. Right, fine. Please raise me concern anywhere, stop me wherever you feel you have a question. Okay, so this is the agenda. We'll be giving you an overview of DevOps, cloud computing, Azure cloud engineering, okay, industries using DevOps and Azure cloud, okay, and how do you accelerate your career in DevOps and Azure cloud, okay, how do you do this all things, okay. So let's jump into the very basics. What is DevOps? What is DevOps? Okay, I'll just show you the PPTs for this demo. But when we start the classes, we don't use the PPTs. We have our running notes. Okay, we use our diagrams, running notes. We draw the diagrams, running notes. Okay, we'll provide the documentations, all the documentations we have for each and every tool. We provide the recordings, and we provide you the running notes. Each and every thing we speak here, that is written in the running notes, so that you can refer and go in hand with the video. Whenever you watch a video, you will get the running notes along with that, so that you can see both the notes and understand. Then you can jump into the documentation, where you have proper screenshots of each and every topic, along with some examples where you can do your practice. Okay, so that is how it is designed, and you'll be getting regular daily videos in your drives, or they'll be providing you some link where you can log in and get your details. Okay, so fine. What is DevOps? Okay, so DevOps, this keyword, it says two things. One is the dev, one is the ops. But who is this dev and who is this ops? Dev stands for development, ops stands for operations team. Okay, and dev is nothing but a developer. Op is an operation guy who is your cloud engineer, who is a DevOps engineer, who is a Linux admin, network admin, right? All these people fall under this operations. So these two keywords, they formed a technology called DevOps. Okay, DevOps technology is formed. Okay, but what is DevOps? We know that DevOps has some tools. DevOps has a technology which use a lot of tools and everything, right? But what is DevOps? So very first, DevOps is a practice of operation and development. Okay, development engineers participating together in the entire life cycle. That means DevOps is a process, it's a culture, it's a philosophy. That means they brought this process into market. I agree there are some tools behind this DevOps, but main reason to bring this DevOps was a proper collaboration between the operation development team. Okay, so to build the entire product right from the design till the production support. Okay, using an entire life cycle. Okay, there's a proper life cycle when you want to build a product. A product can be anything, either it can be your electronic product, your automobile product, or it can be your the product can be your pharmacy product, you can be the product can be your insurance product, or it can be a financial banking product, right? Because today everything is moving towards software. Each and every industry is moving towards software. Reason why? Because everything is going digital. That means everything is having going online. People are purchasing everything online. Okay, so it's not only one stream, like software is not online, it's everything, even your clothing, your food, okay, your automobiles, your banking, okay, your insurance, your financial institutes. Okay, all these things are going online. Your vegetables, right? Your milks, previously we used to buy milk, okay, coconuts, anything, any product which is there today, people are selling it online. Okay, there is where this DevOps is getting booming. Why? Because people, whenever they build a website, they have to make sure right from the design till it goes live in the production, that means live in the market, you need to make sure the entire life cycle is run. So what is this life cycle? Now we understood that DevOps is a practice or it's a process. Okay, definition is that it's a process of operation and development engineers participant together to build the entire life cycle from the design through development. That means right from the design till the development, whatever the action is happening, whatever the action happens, that is done by the DevOps tools. Okay, whatever the action is done, that is done by DevOps tool between two folks. One is operation and one is development. These two folks will be collaborating with each other. There is where they brought a keyword of DevOps. Okay, DevOps. So now this is a basic definition. Now let's understand why this DevOps came into market. What is the reason DevOps coming into market? Okay, and what are the life cycle of DevOps? Okay, so life cycle of DevOps. So building any product, you require this. A planning is required, right? From what is a plan, how the website should look, okay, what the design should be there, what the things should be planning. Then when you when you building a website, what is the code there? Okay, what is the how the code should be written, how the code should be built. Okay, then or like your planning should be done, proper planning, like gathering the requirements from the client. What is the website, what is the color of that website, okay, what features the website should contains. Okay, then how many users are logging, all these details, what is the infrastructure required, all the things are gathered in the continuous phase. Okay, continuous planning phase. Then you comes a code and build, very important, where developer will be spending a lot of time in writing his code. Okay, it's not only developer, it's also a DevOps engineer who will be writing his scripts. DevOps engineer is not writing any programming, he's not running any programming, but for his automation level he will be writing some shell scripts, okay, some Ansible scripts, some Kubernetes YAMLs, everything, right? He will write at this part. Then the continuous integration comes. Continuous integration is where you'll be integrating all the process. That means daily whatever the code is written, the daily code has to be built properly. Okay, and each and every tool used in this complete DevOps cycle, that has to be integrated with each other. So two things: very first is how do you integrate one component with other component. Second is integration. That means every day we have to build the product. It's not that one day you build a product and it is working fine. Every day we have to build the product. Every day there's a change in the code by developer that has to be built properly to verify. Okay, further we'll be doing a testing. A QA team will be doing a testing. This is done by QA team. We'll be doing a proper testing. Okay, like whether the login is working, okay, whether the load performance test, load test, everything is done here. Finally, okay, deployment is there. Okay, deployment will be doing a deployment in the live environment. Okay, live environment deployments will happen where it will go live, and once this deployment is happening, this is done by a DevOps engineer. Okay, main area comes under this is the main area where we'll be working on it. And here also we'll be doing some automation. Here we'll be doing a live deployments. Okay, live deployments, that means launching a website. What is the load behind that, what is the infrastructure will manage that, what is the storage, okay, what is the server, what is the CPU, what is the memory, all these things, what is the load balancer, how the whenever there's a load in the system, how the system should scale up automatically, and when there's a load is less, how should scale in automatically, scale out, scale in processes, right? What is a networking zone for us? All these things will be managing at the deployment level. Finally, feedback, the most important, because whenever some application goes live and someone is using for the first time or someone is using it regularly, you'll be getting some comments or stars over there. Give a 5 star, give a rating for us, give a improvement comment, right? And as well as some product you buy from Amazon anywhere, they're asking a feedback. Why? So that they can improve at the next level. Tomorrow they build a second release, they can improve it, because feedback is very important for a customer. Okay, from a customer, to get the feedback, because customer is the one who will tell us the pain area, what this product, when I use this product, what is the pain area I'm getting. Okay, and then improvement is what, today you release first version of the website, tomorrow you have to improve that website, otherwise customers will not be happy. If let's suppose every time the payment is failing for the first time, second time it goes fine. So if that payment failing is happening every time in that website, then the customer will be little bit scared, as well as there will be no trust on the website or the company which is maintaining this website, right, or selling that product, because he's scared, right? First time the amount is getting deducted, and second, after 7 days it is coming, he will not wait for that long, right? It's take a simple example of yourself. You go to a shop, you want to buy a product. Okay, you want to buy a product, and then the shopkeeper tells you, please wait sir till the evening, I'll deliver the product. You will not wait for a second as well. Why? Because the demand and supply is very high, right? So you just go switch to the next shop and see whether the product is available. If the product is available, you'll directly go and buy it. Okay, so same way, in the online market, what are these websites we are creating, there also what happened, customer will wait for the improvement. Customer will say how good the website is, how good my work is happening in that website. Okay, how good a customer purchases that website. Okay, how good the customer purchases the product in that website, that is also important, because his journey right from login to the logout should be smooth. So all that improvements, okay, it's not only a website, it can be a phone as well, your cell phone, okay, your router. Okay, it can be any product, it can be your even your automobile industry, where the car, right? Today, what the previous cars were there, was there any dashboard in the car? No. Will you buy a car without a dashboard, without the 360 camera, without some automatic mirrors coming up? All this is what a product, right? Car is a product. If there is a no improvement in that car, no one will purchase a car. It's not only car, your mobiles, okay, your laptops, today each and everything, right, has a proper improvement, proper feedback. Okay, then finally comes the monitoring. Most important is the monitoring, because it's not only the records we maintain. Previously people used to record everything, basically what is a date of purchase and etc things, right? So based on this monitoring, now for the live website monitoring is very important, because folks cannot monitor it manually. It's very difficult for us to sit 24 by 7 in the night and do, right? Because DevOps engineer job is no more a support job. We are not doing a support job. The way developers works in the day shift, same way operation guys works in the day shift. Okay, might be some US folks will be working at their time zone, but India time zone we only work in our time zone. Okay, there's no more 24 by 7. We don't work night shifts, morning shift, or chiller shifts anywhere. Our work is standard daytime. Okay, we log in by 9, log out by 5 or 10 to 7 or 10 to 6, whatever time we have, right? 8 hours, 9 hours work, same thing. Okay, so monitoring is important. So if I give an example of monitoring real time, what it would be, you buy a Geo Wi-Fi, you buy a Geo Wi-Fi, Airtel Wi-Fi, and after you buy, and let's suppose it doesn't work for some time, okay, the internet goes for some time. So what will happen? You'll call a Airtel engineer or Geo customer care, you call it, right? And that what that folks says, sir, please restart your Wi-Fi. I'll be online and I'll guide you how to troubleshoot that. You troubleshoot, you start, you proceed with all the things whatever he says, but still that it doesn't start. Okay, your internet doesn't start. You don't get the internet properly. Okay, you're getting some connection failure, etc. Things. Now what he'll say, sir, let me start it from my side. Let me start it from my side. I'm monitoring your device. So what he's doing, if he's starting from your side, he's able to tell whether your buttons are blinking, whether what is happening for the router, everything. Why? Because they will be monitoring each and everything, whatever the connections they have provided, whatever the lights are blinking for us, same lights will be blinking on their devices at the monitoring dashboards. Okay, so monitoring is very important today. It's not only that your e-commerce website, Amazon website, someone will be monitoring that website. Okay, or some tool will be monitoring the website, because if by mistakenly some of the pages goes down, or some payment gateway goes down, or your login is not working, what will happen? Customers will jump into the Flipkart. If Amazon person is not able to provide the service, they will jump into Flipkart. So for building a product, it's not only industry of software, it's your insurance is also sold online. Now you have e-commerce website for insurance, you have your SBI banking, net banking is going online. You can do all your transactions, send the money, send out the money, everything is doing online, right? So same way, it's not only one sector, each and every sector, everything you can order online. Even your automobile, if you want a spare parts to be ordered, you can online order. If you want to check the specifications of the car, your price, your features, etc. things, right? Everything can be done online. So there is where this DevOps is fitting in each and every industry. Understand the importance first, okay? Where this DevOps is fitting. It is fitting in each in. So for building any product, this is the life cycle, and behind this each and every life cycle, there is where a DevOps tools forms. Where is where DevOps tools will run between each and every loan, because they created this process. Behind this process, your DevOps engineer tools will be working. DevOps tools will be working. Okay, let's move on. Very first, before DevOps, what was that? Before DevOps came to market, there was something called a build and release. There was something called a build and release. Okay, build and release. Okay, so there was something called build and release before DevOps came into picture. They're following a method called waterfall model for build and release. So previously DevOps engineer is called as a build and release engineer. He was no more a DevOps, he was just a build and release. That means a developer was building the code, he was building the complete artifact, and the DevOps engineer, who was a release engineer that time, who was called a build and release engineer, he was just releasing the product. He was just releasing the product in the market, or launching the website, or he was just doing his deployment work. That's it. He was not worried what was the developer doing the performance, or what action the developers were doing. So previously it was build and release before DevOps. So remember, any technology coming in the market today, that has a drawback. Previously there was some drawback in some other technology. That is the reason a new technology is coming in the market. Okay, so we had a build and release where developers was building all the product, and we were just as a DevOps engineer, we were just doing a deployment. That means just launching a website in some server, managing infrastructure, and our work was complete. Because apart from that, there was no collaboration. We never collaborated with developer, what is building, how to test this, nothing. We are done by everything. We were individually working, developer was individually working, there was no collaboration. So what happened when there is no collaboration?
I lost your voice suddenly.
Am I audible now?
Yes, now.
Yes, you are.
Okay. My screen also sharing. Let's continue. So previously there was something called a build and release engineer. Before DevOps came into market, there was build and release. Before, there was no proper life cycle management. This all this life cycle was not managed properly. There was something a developer was building his code. Okay, we were doing our own deployment. We don't know anything what is happening between each other. Okay, I am managing my infrastructure, I'm building. So what happens in this situation when there is no collaboration between a developer and a DevOps operation team? So what happened? Then there was a QA team who was testing his own team and everything, right? So in this situation, what happens when we build a product? There's no proper testing, there's no proper analysis done behind this testing. So what happens when it goes live in the environment? If something breaks, the customer is coming back. Okay, that means something is going in the live, then the customer is saying that this is not working, this is the concern is raising, my payment is not happening, I ordered a product that is not going properly, it is not shipping, I didn't get it in any acknowledgement letter. Okay, when I ordered the product, I didn't get an email with the invoice and everything, right? All this is online problems. Same way you see in the real time when you sell an automobile, just imagine the same process. If a mechanical engineer, his mechanic is building his car, he's building all the spare parts properly, okay, and this release engineer what is doing, he's fixing all the spare parts in the car and simply releasing the market, okay. And this QA testing guy what is doing is starting the car, he's verifying whether the car is running, he'll just take a small drive of the car and he'll come back. So they are building a spare parts of the car, they are fixing the spare parts, and they are QA engineers testing the uh, car, whether it's starting, whether all the things are working properly, okay. But they didn't do the thorough testing over there. What happens if the customer takes the car, he goes for a 100 kilometers, he might drive 1000 kilometers, okay, he might keep the car for a longer time, okay, where he can drive the car inside the water, again inside the water, in sense if he's using the village, there's some mud, there's some water, if he's using the car, okay. What happens if it doesn't start the car for next 1 month or 2 months? So all these things has to be tested properly, okay. And even if you see today, people are doing the crash test, whether the air balloons are coming, you have a 360-degree camera, you have your proper dashboard, sensors are there, okay, each child lock facilities and etc things are there. Because this all things, if it is not there, previously it was not there, if you see olden cars was not there. So now what happens when there is a no proper communication between mechanical engineer, your release engineer and your engineer, what will happen? These people build a car, give it to the customer. Now customer might drive anywhere, we don't know, right, how he will use, he can drive at any way, right, anywhere anywhere. So now the customer started driving, he went to some 800 kilometers and the car stopped. Now the customer is coming with the feedback saying that after a long journey the car doesn't work properly, there's a lot of problems in this car, okay, I'm facing this problem, okay, this is what happens, it gets heat up, okay, some oil gets leaks, okay, and it is making a lot of sound for you, okay. So all these things are coming by the customer. So there is where previously it was build and release, and lot of issues were there in the product. It's not only an online product, it can be any product which is building the market, lot of challenges. There is where to avoid the build and release challenge, today we came in the market of DevOps. So DevOps has a proper life cycle where proper collaboration between the teams using this complete life cycle, the development team, the QA team, the DevOps team collaborate with each other. They understand what is each other's work. You don't need to work as a development, or developer doesn't need to work as a DevOps. Not a QA has to work as a developer or DevOps. They just need to understand what a developer is building. Is a developer building a feature? Developer is building a website. So just to understand how I can use that website. You don't need to worry what is the code behind that. Just worry how to use that, so that what this happens is before it goes to some customer, you even you think as a customer only, you can think as a customer that what if I click this button, whether this will work or not. What if I make a payment, will this payment take a lot of time, or will it take a lot of time? What if I enter a wrong details, what happens to my website? So all these things has to be tested before it goes. It's not only car, today you see your cars, okay, your insurance, okay, it can be anything, everything is going online. So people are testing that each and every product which is coming in the market, with proper testing is to be done, okay, proper deployment has to be done, proper feedback is important from a customer, proper improvement has to be done. Because today you release a phone with some 5 version, tomorrow after 1 year you have to release sixth version. Why? Because fifth version has some issues in the phone. Same way today what you release a car, if there is some issue in the car, definitely you have to release a second version and improve that improvement. Like the look and feel of the website, look and feel of the car, look and feel of your product has to be improved, otherwise customer attraction will not happen, customer will not get attract, customer will not be happy. So all these things is important. Behind this each and every uh, life cycle, there is one product, there is one tool of DevOps. That is where you're going to learn the DevOps tools, okay. Now let's come to waterfall model. There are two further models, build and release. Any doubt, guys? Okay, build and
No.
release. Okay, build and release, previously build and release was using waterfall model, okay. So whatever the continuous planning, designing, okay, your development, testing, everything. So this waterfall model works in one side. Again, it is step by step process. Okay, it starts from requirement phase, then go to design, then go to deployment, then go to testing. So what this waterfall model planned is, there will be so what this waterfall model was doing is, these people is to set some range, saying that this is the 2 months I'll work on requirement, 2 months I'll work on design, okay, 6 months on development, 3 months on testing, okay, 2 months on deployment, and finally the maintenance starts. So what these people has to decide a timeline. So once they complete their requirement, they'll come to design. Once the design is complete, come to deployment. Okay, your development. But if you want to change anything in these two phases, that is not possible in the waterfall model. So likewise, if you start your design, your means complete requirement has to be completed. All your requirement gathers to completed. All your designing has to be completed. All your deployment development has to be completed. Then only you'll come for testing. Then only come for deployment. That means each and every previous phase has to be completed. This was a step by step model. This was step by step process where these people was following. But what happened here, let's suppose we came till testing, we have launched a website, we have just internally launched a website, we are verifying everything here. Okay, we did a testing, we did deployment. Before it goes live, we did a testing and we deployed a sample website in our internal websites, and we saw that how this look and feel is there. There we call a customer, and there we call your client who has given us this requirement of launching this website, and we'll ask him how is the website, do you require any, do you have any suggestions here. But if he says, I want to change something in the requirement and design, I feel some changes to be added, that is not possible at the waterfall model. Even if the customer is satisfied, not satisfied, this is not possible in the waterfall model. Definitely, even if he's not satisfied, fix something here itself and give the deployment and go maintenance. Then again you have to start from scratch. Again you have to spend this time again. There's no reverse back from the testing. You can't go to requirement and do the design and come back. Definitely you have to go further, fix whatever you have to fix it at the testing level only, and do the complete testing there itself. There's no chance you can't go further. Okay, you can't go back here. So that was a drawback in build and release. This was a strict way of working waterfall model, step by step. Because here when the customer is not satisfied, he's never satisfied with his website, right? Client was never satisfied with the website. So what happens now, if a company has to work again for the requirement also, company will ask them budget. First of all, the customer is not satisfied, the client is not satisfied. Again, the client should pay some amount to the company when they're doing some rework or adding some additional feature. So both was not agreeing here. So this model was never suitable for the client and the company for making the projects. Okay, there was a lot of issues with here, because when you spend so much of time here, again if you have to go and spend some year time, the until you're testing, whole time you have to spend in the requirement and everything. And there, if a company is doing some rework, it will definitely expect some amount. Guarantee someone, if you ask someone to do some extra work, they will ask you money, right? Because they have this much of budget, you give it this much. And the client, what he says, already I made a fixed budget, I can't make any more payment, you have to do my requirement. So both had a conflict here. Both, this process was not suitable for a company and the client for building their website. Then came the agile model, where the DevOps fits into picture, where we started the incremental. First we take the requirement what the client gives, we start parallelly, we start the requirements, we start our analysis, we start our design, okay, we start our coding. So the number of days are kept less so that we can do one more iterations. Okay, so we'll keep one more iteration. So we do the analysis, design, everything, we do the coding. Okay, then the testing is done. Let's suppose at the testing, launching the website, we feel something went wrong in the design, we don't feel the look and good is not good. Again we can roll it back, because the number of days are kept here less. Here these people fix us 6 months, 4 months, 6 months, 2 months, right? So this period is very long. But here these people will keep 2 weeks gap. That means 2 weeks, twice a week they'll be building this model. Requirement gathering, design, coding, everything will be working parallelly. Everything person will be working parallelly, and they'll be doing. If they launch a website here and they show a customer says no, I need some design changes, then immediately they will do a design changes. And also the company will get benefited, because customer will make the payment, because they're still in the initial 2 weeks, they haven't signed any agreement. They will ask the extra budget, they will change the budget from the customer. Second, at the same time, customer is also happy because he is getting his design, what are the requirement design. So the client who wants his website is happy, and the company who wants his uh, amount for working reworking, that is also fulfilled. So both are getting, customer is satisfied, sorry, the client is satisfied, and the company is satisfied with the amount, so both are happy. So again they will start the requirement phase. Again, if they feel testing has to be stopped somewhere, I have to start requirement. Now I started with design, I will rebuild the code and test. If I feel I want to start from requirement, start from requirement, second iteration. Again they will start from scratch and they will verify, and they will do twist testing, and they'll give a website to a customer, sample website, and they'll say, yeah, are you satisfied? Until the customer is satisfied, they'll be taking one more iterations. Again iterations will follow until the customer is satisfied. And every time a customer, the customer, the client adds the new requirement or the design, that has to be paid to the company. So both by benefited, both were satisfied. There is where your DevOps fits into your agile model, and your waterfall fits into your build and release model. Okay, build and release model. Now, who is a DevOps engineer? Who is a DevOps engineer? So DevOps engineer is an IT professional who works with software developers, system operators, and other production IT staff to administration the code releases. That means you are no more a support engineer, you are a IT professional who is working with the software developers, system engineers, and other production engineers. And DevOps should have hard and soft skills. That means you require little bit of communication skills, and you require a proper collaboration with these teams. Okay. And finally, DevOps engineer will work with development team staff to tackle the coding and scripting needed. That means you just need to work with them, you don't need to do a coding, you need to understand what is the work they are doing, what is the website they are doing, what is the feature, so that when you start deploying, you should have an idea that what, when I do a deployment, where the issue is coming and where can I report for a developer. Okay, this is what a DevOps engineer is, and what is his roles and responsibilities. DevOps engineer is a full time. DevOps engineer is a full time. He's no more a contract guy. You don't get a contract job for DevOps. They are responsible for production and ongoing maintenance of the software platform. That means whatever website we are launching, that is run by us. Each and every online website today which is running, behind that there is a DevOps engineer sitting. That's why the market is going to a DevOps engineer skills. Okay, people are requiring DevOps engineer skills because today every company, it's not only one company, every company. I'll show you the which all companies or which all industries are using DevOps today. Okay, DevOps engineer should have a strong skills like CI/CD tools. Whatever the DevOps tool we see, we say CI/CD tools. There are some deployment tools, there are some continuous integration tools. Okay, and he should have a cloud knowledge like Azure, AWS, and GCP, and basic knowledge of how do you manage your infrastructure. Some soft skills, some problem analysis skills, right? So basic, that is any skills people are saying. You don't require any programming. Again and again, I'm telling, no programming is required. Okay, no program is required. Then what does a DevOps engineers does? So basically a DevOps engineers, okay, they upgrade the database versions, can we deploy the small versions, all this work, all this infrastructure work is maintained by us, complete infrastructure is managed by us. We manage the infrastructure, we manage the open source DevOps tools. Okay, okay, but we don't code anywhere, we don't code anywhere. Okay, this is what we do, this is what our work does, complete infrastructure work. Now previously I told that traditional system where build and release was working, traditional development. So the mechanical engineer or the mechanical developer who was there, he was building all his spare parts for the car. Okay, and finally the release engineer, like a DevOps engineer, he was fixing all this spare parts here, and finally he was releasing the market. What will happen now? The customers was coming with the issue because what this guy is doing, we don't have an idea, we just taking a spare part fixing it here, but how the spare part works, what is the issue it's coming, we don't know. It is not only, that's why I'm telling, this is an example why I brought it, because it is not just to DevOps is not just for software. DevOps will work in any location. That's why you guys will get a lot of opportunities to work in the DevOps in industry now. It's not only one location, every location. Okay, DevOps practice bringing all together. Remember there are four, minimum there are three teams. Okay, three teams in the company. One is business team who will get the requirements, second is developer who will work on coding, third is operation, we stand here, which is DevOps and cloud engineer who will be working on this. So all these teams will be working together to satisfy the end user customer or the customer, so that a product is built properly and the customer is uh, um, end user's product is built properly, he's satisfied with that. Okay, so what is the minimum visible product? Is it profitable? Do we have any capability to build and maintain it? So all this information will be gathered between dev and ops, and business team makes a further deal with this thing. So any company minimum requirement is a development, an operation, and a business team. This is the requirement for any company, and this should work together as a DevOps practice to build a full-fledged product. Okay, and then daily practice, that means I told you right, at the iteration level we'll be doing every time we'll be building a code. Okay, building the code, we'll be running the test, we'll be checking the dependencies, we'll be automating the complete server. That means our work is every day will be building the same work will be done every day, so that the product is built properly. Everyday testing has to be done on the product. It's not that one day you test it and you build all the product. No, each and every product has to be built properly, because every product is unique. And finally, what kind of a work you're going to get in this industry when you work as a DevOps practice? Business projects, internal IT projects. Okay, in changes, that means what are the changes you're going to work. Like if you work for a network admin or storage admin, linux admin, Sunday you get changes, right? But this will be doing in the weekdays. Some unplanned work, some production server has gone down, or some of the application is very slow. All these things work will be fixed by us. Okay, these are the types of works which come into our buckets. Okay, and then finally the flow diagram which you're going to work on: continuous integration, your branching, and your build automation. So when there was something called build and release, these many tools which people were working, like your developer is working on your your coding. Once the code is done, will be keeping the code in the GitHub. This is the first tool. GitHub is the first tool. We'll be keeping a code. Okay, version control system. Then you have a Maven, where Maven will run this code. Okay, to execute this code you require this code. That the code you stored it here, that has to be Java code, has to be executed here. So we are not going to write any code. Developer will just keep a code at GitHub. This is the version control system which will be tracking your code. Who has merged the code, who has deleted the code, everything will be, because this is the main thing, right? Without this code you can't launch a website, that is sure, right? Then your Maven, for because developer is writing only the code, he can't execute the code. So there's a flexibility for developer to execute his code and get the final output of that code. And then you have JFrog. What are the code you're building? You'll get a war file, jar file, you get one executable file, right? That executable file has to be stored in some proper location. So there is where you fall it here. There is a JFrog and Nexus Artifactory. Finally, even for a DevOps engineer, you should have flexibility. Every time I can't go to Git, I can't go to JFrog, I can't go to Maven. So simply a Jenkins is an automation tool. Using this tool, I will integrate all these tools to one-time activity integration and work off from. So because I should also get relief, right? I can't work in all the three tools. Maybe I will have knowledge, but I require flexibility. So that flexibility is provided by the automation. So a company can still run with this product and release in the customer. This can be a deployment and automation, both tools. Okay, so if a company has a minimum budget, they can still work. That means what is the meaning of that? That means a DevOps engineer has a flexibility to choose his own tools, what he want to work, and as well as a company has a flexibility what tool he or he they want to have in their product. So both has a flexibility here. Learning DevOps is flexible, but it is not same with your Java, it is not same with your QA, it is not same with your any other technology. You have to learn complete end-to-end technology for working on it. But here you have a flexibility of choosing what tools I have to work, or what the company has a flexibility what tools they have to keep for the product. Okay, this is the flow. First, developer will write a code, it will go to Git, from the Git will build a Maven, from the Maven it will go to the Artifactory, and further if you want to automate these three, you have a Jenkins tool. Okay, now for second comes the quality testing, very important, because the build is done here. Okay, we have copied the artifact in the Nexus or JFrog. Now main things come the same flow. Developer will write a code, Maven, from Maven you'll use this JFrog, and from this further you'll use your Jenkins or Maven for quality analysis. So main things comes here, which is your QA work. We are not going to do anything here. This is all the QA work, execution, automation scripts, everything is a QA work. This is our work comes here. Code analysis, most important. Security tool, this is the security tool which we need to learn, because whatever the code written by a developer, we don't know it will work, or it will work, we know that it is working fine, but what is when it goes live? Are there any hacker attacks? Is there hacker is going to attack a website because of this code written? Because developer also is a human being, right? He can assume everything. Might be he might be fixing, looking at the official website, everything, but still somewhere it will left. So the quality check, quality of the product is important. When you launch a website, the quality is important. Same way, when you launch a phone, you have to check the quality. Okay, what happens when you click this button? What happens when you keep the charging for a longer time? Will the charging will be overcharged or less charged? Each and every quality is important, and the quality check is important when you build a product. Same way, when you build a website, the sonar cube is important for checking the code quality, how good the code quality is there, what kind of errors, what kind of vulnerabilities, what kind of the hacker attacks are going to come from a website. So there is where this tool we are going to put some effort, which is a sonar cube, which will do the code analysis and quality check of the product. Finally, you extend it to your Ansible. Now the deployment parts, because till now what we did, we have stored the code here. Maven code is built, we got a final artifact, we are doing some automation. Okay, we are doing some we're doing storing that code here, we're doing some quality analysis. Now we have to launch a website, right? That launching a website can be done with the Ansible. If it is a 1-2 server, Jenkins can handle. But what if there are some 100 servers? In the 100 machines, I have to install the same application for keeping a high availability. Even if some 10 machines goes down, still 90 machines will provide the traffic to the website, because we don't know today in the website 100 people are logging, tomorrow 100,000 people might log in, because the load should handle in the website, right? But behind that we have to keep some good infrastructure. But how do I install my application in 100 servers? It's most difficult task, right? There is where automation tool came into picture called Ansible. Will be executing some playbooks for infrastructure provisioning, for validating the provisioning, for running the deployment playbooks, so checking the validation, everything. All these things using these Ansible. That means in one single shot, in 100 servers, same application can be deployed. There is where Ansible comes into picture. You can deploy it in any infrastructure, any of the machine, any of the code. It can be what type of code, it doesn't matter. Our work is what, deploying that same application into hundreds of thousands of machine in single shot. Okay, that means no even if you uninstall that from 1,000 machines, single one playbook and 100 and 1,000 machines will be uninstalled. This is where the strong tool of your Ansible, of your DevOps is Ansible. The way your Jenkins is there. Further, what are the command line you are running, that can be integrated with Jenkins, and single button will deploy everything. Just one button, one click, on your 100 machines are installed. One click, 100 machines are uninstalled. So all these things can be happen with this DevOps tool. This is called infrastructure provisioning and contains deployment with the Ansible. Okay, with the Ansible. Then comes your main thing, end to end. Now till now, whatever you have done with these three, same thing you put in one single pipeline where you do a planning, contains code and build, integration, testing, deployment. So planning is what are the business team will work with you. They will assign you some tickets. Give me this much of infrastructure. This is the need of infrastructure. You need to build 100 servers. You need to have this many servers, this much CPU, this much RAM, this many load balancers, this many virtual nets and everything, right? All the things information will come here. Then they will assign you a ticket. Further, code and build. Developer will be writing a code in the GitHub, storing the code up. Will be building it with the Maven, and then for your Jenkins for automation, then your JFrog for storing the artifact, what are the output you created, right? Because once the code is built, you'll get some zip file, war file, your jar file, everything, right? That storage have to be stored here because the size is very big. It cannot be stored in code. Here only a raw code, whatever the files, folders is stored. But here you're storing one extension, your zip file, your jar file is stored here. And finally your sonar cube for checking the quality of the code, what the code is written. Finally the testing, QA folks will be doing the testing. They'll be verifying the load testing, regression testing, all the testing will be done from here. And finally your Ansible will come into picture for deployment, like your lower QA environment, your UAT lower environment, okay, your production environment. All this thing will be testing properly and deploying the website will go long. So this is the end goal. Okay, diagram looks complex, but it's not complex. This is simple. A step by step arrow, if you go, you will understand that what this end to end flow is doing. Okay, and finally you have an advanced level of learning. After this is the basic, a company can still work with this. That's why I told you, a DevOps engineer and a company has a flexibility to choose the tools. Tomorrow they say, I am deploying this 100 servers with Ansible, but the cost is very less. Each and every server cost very less. Your CPU is not free, your memory is not free. Okay, your server, what a hardware you're buying, that is not free. Everything has to be paid, right? They say, I want to reduce some burden on my cost. Then comes your continuous deployment using a Docker and Kubernetes. Most important concept, advanced level of concept for your cost optimization. Same thing, what you're doing here, same thing. Only instead of server, you will be deploying in the pod. You'll be learning a concept of Docker Kubernetes where the pod concept will come, where in one server you can launch some hundred thousands of pods. That means in single server only you can work the entire. Only thing, you should have a good infrastructure in that server. Okay, so we'll be reducing some cost of the virtual machines and we'll be moving to Docker Kubernetes for making an application light, easy way of deploying, easy way of maintaining the application. Okay, so how you think your Amazon, your Flipkart, your Netflix, your Amazon Prime is running 24 by 7 in each and every video is serving there using your Docker and Kubernetes. You can just type this Docker Kubernetes and search in Google which all companies is using Docker Kubernetes. Okay, so Kubernetes is been used by many big companies for running the live application. That is why even if you see one, not even a single second your Amazon website will go down, not even single your Netflix will go down, not even single your Prime will go down. Each and every website is running 24 by 7. Why? Because of this Docker Kubernetes. Less cost, more benefit using this Docker Kubernetes. Okay, then finally, okay, any doubt guys, I'll take a pause till DevOps tools. Now then I'll come to the cloud engineering. Any doubts you have? Okay, before I proceed, I'll show you the block diagram how it goes, but any doubts you have so
So
far?
in the various phases of DevOps, you said various tools can be used, right? So what
Yeah,
are the options that we have, or what are all the tools that we will be covering in this course?
everything, what are the course we are learning, everything will be covering. So we have set of some 12 to 15 tools which are there. We'll be covering all the tools. Will be making you fit in the complete DevOps and Azure, so that any requirement comes tomorrow in your any requirement comes from the company, you should be able to fulfill. Okay, it's not that only a company is using flexible, will be using flexible. All the standard tools in the market we are covering today, so that tomorrow any requirement comes, tomorrow any JD comes for you and they say we require some Jenkins, Maven, Git, and we require some Docker Kubernetes, so you should be able to fulfill. Because the reason why, because every this each and every tool is, whatever we'll be learning, that is an open source free version. But what if a company has to purchase this kind of a tools, they have to purchase a little bit enterprise version, because they require support, right? They require support from this Jenkins teams and everything, because tomorrow if they want to do some upgrade or there's some Jenkins, they require some support. For that reason, you have to buy some license or subscription. There is where company cannot buy all these tools. What are we going to learn? Some company will use some tools, some company will use some tool, right? So it depends upon that. Okay, and also you as a flexibility. If you say I don't want to work on Docker Kubernetes, I just want to work till these many tools what I have learned. Or if I say someone says I'm still a build and release engineer only, I want to work with this tool, I'm build and release engineer, I want to come to DevOps, but I want till Ansible, I don't want to Docker Kubernetes. It's your flexibility to choose. Company also have a flexibility what tools you have to work. Okay, what tools you have to work. Company has a flexibility to what tools to choose, because the license cost increase. If they feel that my product can be built with this Ansible, Docker, Jenkins, okay, Maven, everything, why should I go with this Docker and Kubernetes? They don't require it, right? If they have a flexibility to work with the product, if the product is very stable, they are good enough with these tools, why they want to go with that tool? Some company might be using it because their product might be very large, they require some cost optimization. It depends upon company to company, right? So there is where you should be master in all these things, so that tomorrow any requirement comes, any job DD comes, you should be fitting in that within these tools. Got it?
Yeah. So only
Okay,
Ansible or Terraform will be covered.
Terraform is also there, that is also covered. I'll come back with the list of tools at the end, it is there, I'll show you. Okay, so now before I proceed with cloud, the same thing what we have seen, you can see in the flow diagram, so that this is your flow diagram. Right from developer will be writing the code in anything. It's not only developer will be writing our Ansible shell scripts, Kubernetes YAMLs, right? That can be stored in the GitHub, and then from there we'll be building this Maven tool. What are the Maven is there, right? Using for building the Java code or your .NET code, right? Everything this will build from here. Then your Sonar Cube checks will happen. Then you store your jar file, zip file in a storage called a Nexus. This for storage, and then you'll be deploying your war file in your using a Tomcat in the Tomcat. And finally, Ansible is for automation purpose. Ansible is used for automating your infrastructure. That means how do you install in 100 servers in one shot? How do you make a configuration changes in one shot? How do you uninstall your software from the 100 servers? All the things can be done with the Ansible. Okay, and then finally comes your Jenkins, which is an automation tool, because a DevOps engineer should have some flexibility, right? He can't go to every tool every day and work. Simply, he will what he'll do, one time integration at the beginning of the project. He will integrate from one time with these tools, and all the clicks he will run from it. This is a UI tool. You'll be typing all the clicks from here, and your work will be done. So logs can be managed in one location. Status of the server can be checked here. All the build activities can be done here. All the deployment activities can be done here. Further, if a company wants at advanced level, they can do for Kubernetes Docker, and this Docker Kubernetes also can be integrated to a Jenkins, and you can manage from here. So this is the advanced level of the product. If you feel there's some cost incurred in that VM based setups, whatever you're launching the websites, then go for Kubernetes for reducing the infrastructure cost for this. And all these activities where we are doing in the cloud administration of Azure, like your users, your load balancers, your machines launching, your virtual networks, your Azure DevOps services, your DNS. Okay, you're launching your websites, then your storage, then your managed decent snapshots. Okay, and further, whatever you are doing with this UI, that can be done provisioning. That means automation of your servers, automation of your managing snapshot disk, everything is done with the Terraform. Okay, Terraform can be used for automating your infrastructure. How do you automate your infrastructure using Terraform? Okay, that will be done but before that, you should have a good knowledge on your cloud. How do you launch a VM? At least you have a knowledge on how to launch a VM, then you can do the Terraform provisioning. Okay, this is the flow diagram which will be working into it. Right from your Git, you'll be starting, then your Maven, then your SonarQube, Nexus, Tomcat, then we'll integrate all these three to Jenkins. Then you're learning your Ansible, then you're learning your Docker Kubernetes. Finally, you'll be learning your cloud integration, and then we'll go for Terraform, because you should have a knowledge. How do you launch a VM first? First, if you don't know how to launch a VM manually, how we can automate your Terraform? Because manual steps you should know to put this skeleton, right? This is a Terraform will give you a skeleton where you have to put all the details to automate it. Okay, there is where this end-to-end diagram flows, where each and every tool will be covered here for your learning. Okay, for your learning. Okay, so any doubt guys here? Same thing what we have learned there, same thing I'm showing in the block diagram, so that you'll get a clarity how this works. Because infrastructure, wherever you're storing this build commands, SonarQube, Nexus are launching in these machines only, because cloud is the infrastructure for us, right? In the cloud infrastructure only it will work. So you require some cloud knowledge as well. Okay, and then finally you'll come for your
So what would be the
cloud.
duration of this course end to end?
It will be minimum 2 months, and if there is extension, then 10 days, 15 days I'll extend it. Okay, maximum minimum is 2 months, maximum 2.5 months. Okay, because we are learning end
What is
to
the
end,
class
it's not
duration
that.
per day?
Sorry.
Class duration.
So mostly this will be a DevOps will be learning some 35 days, and cloud duration will be rest of the part. It can be some 20 days or 35 days, depends upon the
No timings like any even I will be busy on that day noon, but actually I wasn't free. And,
sorry.
so the timings for the classes
It will be morning 7 o'clock,
from 7 to
7 to 8:30, 7 to 8, 8:30. One and a
for
half hour
daily
every day,
one
one
to
and a
two
half
hours, right?
hour. 1 to 2 hours. That's
That's
it.
that.
It depends upon the topic. Mostly 1.5 hour. I'll keep it regularly. Daily, the class will be 1.5 hour, and half an hour. If we could not cover that topic in that session, right, then we'll extend half an hour.
Okay.
Okay,
So how
because
about the
almost
weekends? Like Saturday, Sunday also we have class?
no. Weekends I don't. Sunday we don't keep. Saturday we'll have a class. Initial days, no Saturdays. Once we cover the introduction part and little bit of Linux and everything, then when we start our classes, then the actual Saturdays will cover same 1.5 hour. Even it's not that Saturday will cover 3 hours, 4 hours, nothing. It is because you
Okay.
should understand the topic, right? It's not that we rush it and you don't understand, it will be a problem. So only thing is
Sagar,
that,
is there any possibility to like to start the class at 8 o'clock? Actually, I can have the shift till 8 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning.
sure, they will speak to management. We can start with 7:30 or 8. Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
I will be in the night shift of this month, so I have to work till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no problem. We can adjust that timing. We'll ask who the institute is. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Fine. So let's move quickly to the cloud, and then I'll show you the final work of that. Okay. So cloud. So what is cloud computing? You have idea, right? So because cloud is what we're doing. Cloud doesn't mean it's storing cloud. It is just a data center. Cloud is managed by data center people who is a cloud provider. That means somewhere in some different remote location they are maintaining the clouds. Okay, and we are using this cloud. Okay, we are using this cloud. Okay. Okay. So cloud is what previously people used to maintain their own data centers. Company was maintaining his own data center because there was lot of issues over the data center, because you have to buy the infrastructure, you have to buy the storage, you have to buy the servers, you have to maintain your internet connections. All these things had a headache in your previous maintaining your. You have to rent a building. Okay, you have to keep a labors, cameras, cleaning, everything, right? To avoid this cost, people are going to cloud, and these cloud providers are maintaining this data center, and they are selling each and every infrastructure resource as a hourly basis or a yearly basis or a 6 months basis, right? They're selling this one. So this cloud computing is become famous in the market because people, companies also saying, why do we need to maintain the headache of having an infrastructure? Why don't we take the service from them? Why don't we take a service from them? So previously cloud computing enables you to stop thinking of infrastructure as a hardware, so and instead think of use it as a software. That means instead of maintaining your own hardware, why don't you simply go with the browser and access it? Why have to go in the infrastructure? Why do you have to maintain a building? Why you have to maintain so many ACs? Then the engineers are required, electric engineers are required, so all that cost incurred, right? Because buying a hardware is not that easy. Okay, it's not that easy. It requires lot of amount. Okay, because if 6 months I'm using my data center, 6 months I'm turning off, still I have to pay the rent, still I have to maintain the servicing of the machines, still I have to pay the labors, cameras has to be, electricity, your internet has to be used, right? So all that cost is incurring. There is where people say, why don't you move to cloud instead of maintaining the hardware? So a lot of challenges were there when we had the on-premises own data center and the cloud, right? So on-premises data center had a lot of changes. Your labor, patches, upgrades, system administrators, fixing capacity. Okay, your regions, limited geographical regions. Okay, all that things, like means tomorrow if your customer is sitting some other location, the latency issue will come, because this is launched in India and the customer is sitting in some UK, US, right? So that issues of the latency issues, the network issues couldn't be resolved very easily. There were a lot of challenges having this one, because initial purchase cost is very high of the servers, machines cost, setting up the building, everything, right? And right, as soon as the machine is purchased, the very next day the depreciation starts of a machine. It's anything common, right? Any machine depreciation starts with the next day. So no one will buy the server also once you buy this one, right? Because this has its own demand in the market and own depreciation value in the market. There is where people say, why do I need to invest in the hardware? Simply I'll go with the cloud and let them people hardware. I'll just pay for what I'm using. I'll pay only the service what I'm using, right? For that people this one it is. And if you see today, the Azure is in different regions. It's not only Azure, your AWS, GCP, everything is serving in different regions. But here, and also it has a high availability. That means duplication of data center is here, but it is difficult maintaining one data center only. The cost is very high. Where you'll maintain a duplicate data center, it's very difficult, right? So there is people are saying we are getting a flexibility, security. Okay, even something goes wrong, these people will bring back, because the headache is from the cloud, not from the own company. Company will say I'm signing a contract with this cloud people, and these people will provide me the complete backup. Okay, and then what is a web service? Right? Web service is a piece of software that makes itself available over the internet. That means your complete Azure can be accessed from the website. You don't need to go to a data center and access your resources. Everything can be accessed from the website. So there is where your web service coming into picture. And what is Azure? It's an example of complete cloud. With the public cloud, all the hardware, software, and other supporting infrastructures is owned and managed by the cloud provider. So access these services and manage your account using a web browser. That means data center is located somewhere, anywhere it can be located. We don't need to worry about that. Our work is what? Simply access the resources pay how much you're using. It can be anything, right? Pay how much you're using. So cloud is that flexible. So Azure is providing you a platform for using your softwares, manage your infrastructure. Okay, all these things they are providing you flexibility to use it. Okay, and these are the compute services, your storage, your networking. Okay, all these things, your users management, all these things we are going to learn. Okay, this is the different, our work stands in the infrastructure. This is for developer, this is for a developer, this is media and cns for a networking team. Okay, this is the integration team, there is some data science team, intelligence team, and then your artificial intelligence team, right? Everyone is getting a service, their own softwares as a platform. This is called platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and you have some software as services which people will be providing you. So we'll be learning all these virtual machine containers, your storage, okay, your networking, okay, your how to create a users, okay, how to load balancer it, okay, all these things we'll be learning as part of your DevOps journey. Okay, your DevOps journey. Then comes what is the industry is using. I told you, right? How many industries are using today? Software, automobile, insurance, financial institutes, banking, social media, your Facebook, your in LinkedIn, your all your job website. Everywhere you require a DevOps team because the website has to be maintained, right? Infrastructure, because we don't know how many people will log in Facebook, how many people will log in your Instagram, your WhatsApp. You think you're storing that many videos of Instagram in your phone? No, there is behind there cloud is sitting where cloud is storing all these details. Cloud is storing the details. Okay, your YouTube main example. Do you think YouTube videos are stored in your laptop? You are accessing with the browser. Someone else is maintaining the infrastructure. There also we have work. Each and every online website today is giving a work. It's not only your software world, your insurance world, your financial banking, your health sectors, okay, your electrical companies, right, your education sectors, because US educations are completely digital now. So there also we're getting some DevOps jobs. Your e-commerce website, your Amazon, Flipkart, everything, these websites are managed by us. We are responsible for making the infrastructure up and running. So there is where the demand is very high for DevOps and Azure. Okay, then how do you accelerate your career in DevOps and Azure? So gaining skills by Azure, proper career roadmap for DevOps, getting certified in case it is optional, but still if you want to certify, okay, understanding the DevOps and cloud requirement in the current market. Then how do you analyze the huge market? Okay, know your salaries before in career, because you have to know what is your target when you go in the career of DevOps. You should have a target that today I'm learning some 5 lakhs, but I want when I start a career DevOps, I should start with some 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs per annum. Okay, that career you should have. That roadmap will show, DevOps will show you the roadmap. Because if you go and search in the internet, minimum salary for DevOps engineer starts with 6 lakhs for a service base, 8 lakhs for a product based company, 8 lakhs for product based for a fresher. I'm saying if you're 4 years, and if you're 4 years guy, definitely the salary will be 12 years, 15 lakh salary, right? And think about the rest of the folks who is uh, in your market, right? In the market who is serving from 10 years and etc thing, they will have minimum 20 to 25 lakhs of salary. Okay, minimum 20 to 20 lakhs of salary people are paying for DevOps engineer, because market is demanding, these many industries are demanding. There is a shortage of DevOps engineer in the market. Okay, then accelerate career in your career roadmap. So you can start learning this automation of CD, source code management. Okay, some Linux fundamental, no programming language, Linux fundamental. Okay, how do you build the application? How do you test the application? Okay, what is the cloud providers you're working and the deployment, right? So this is the career which you need to start with DevOps. One tool you need to start and learn this one. And then what is the salary? Okay, see the US and India, this is the base salary for a service based company. Okay, service based company for a base, okay, base salary. And same way for a product based company, they'll give you from 8 lakhs or something. Okay, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, it depends on the company to company. And you have a different certifications for DevOps certification, CI/CD, Jenkins. You want some Ansible, you want some a master program for DevOps. It depends upon your requirement, you can certificate, but it's completely optional, not mandatory for DevOps, because there's no competition in the market, right? People are asking for DevOps engineer. If you come for a job, that is great for them, because they're not paying the right skill employee. Okay, but what happens, your school and college teaches you Java, C language, Oracle and everything, right? And we proceed with that, we don't have a technology knowledge of DevOps at all. So there is where people are demanding, we want infrastructure. Why infrastructure is important? Remember that today 100 people will be using one website called your app called Instagram. Tomorrow 1,000 people will go, 1 lakh people will go. So what will happen? The Instagram website is same, whatever the developer build is same, but the as soon as the population grows, the jobs of DevOps engineer will go. Why? Because infrastructure maintenance is important. Otherwise what will happen? Application will crash. If you don't maintain a proper infrastructure, application will crash. So just imagine the DevOps job are going to be evergreen year after, because the population is increasing. As soon as the population increases, you have to increase your infrastructure. Otherwise, if today 1,000 people are login, suddenly 10,000 people logins tomorrow, complete infrastructure will be, that means complete your website will crash, it will become slow, you lose the market in the business. To avoid that, people are using this cloud and DevOps folks to join the companies. And then how do you accelerate your Azure world? First, you start with administration. Slowly, we use your DevOps op engineer. That means first we'll be learning from the scratch how to build these tools. Then you can automate in your Azure itself. We'll be learning few services here as well, and we'll be covering all these things: designing, implementation, continuous integration, continuous delivery, management, okay, infrastructure, and feedback. All these things will be saying. For the developer also, he has some platform. He can start these examinations. Okay, he can start the examinations. So these are two things you need to master, but not mandatory. Certification is not mandatory. It's all your belief, because certification has to be done after 1 year of experience. That is a good way of, because there you learn some good real time knowledge, right? Then certification will be helpful for you. So always after 1 year you have to do the certifications. And then what is a prerequisite for this course? Basics of Linux, which will be teach you. Anybody who is just passionate can start this DevOps career. It's not mandatory. I'm from some different background. I don't have this knowledge. I'm not from this background. No. You can start. Any person who is not even software, they can start this one. And programming knowledge is not mandatory. You don't require, first of all. You don't require it. Okay. And who can join? Graduates, undergraduates, backend developers, web developers, non-IT background people can join this program, because everyone has a right to switch to a technology. It's not that someone doesn't have experience, they can't join. Okay, you can convert your existing experience into DevOps and move on from here. Okay, move on from here. Finally, this is a course outline which we are providing. Introduction to DevOps world, Linux administration. Okay, first we'll learn about the DevOps introduction world. Was 2 to 3 days we'll have this class. Then we'll start Linux admission, which will be some 6 classes. Okay, then your DevOps tools will come. Each and every tool has its own timeline. Okay, we'll be learning all the DevOps tools. Then we'll moving to cloud, and then we'll provide you some interview guidance, where we'll speak about how to build your resume, how to speak in an interview. Okay, how do you convert your experience into non-IT experience, non-DevOps experience into DevOps experience. Okay, we'll speak about that. Okay, all this assurance will give you for your interview guidance. Okay, and then finally your tools will come. What are tools you listed? All these tools are here with all these tools, and you'll be getting a course content after this class. We'll be sharing your course content with all these tools, right? We have a course content. Maybe you'll get a drive location where your course content is located. Okay, course content, we have prepared this course content with all your DevOps lifecycle, all your operating system, into in depth of operating system knowledge, your Git, your Maven, your Nexus, SonarQube, your Jenkins, right? In depth, because this is the main tool in the market which is most demanded, and people will ask a knowledge on this. So that's why we have kept it right. You have Ansible and in depth of Ansible knowledge. Then you have Tomcat, you have Docker and Kubernetes knowledge, right? Then you have Terraform, then you have cloud services. Okay, complete cloud services will be
Sagar, don't we
provided,
require the virtualization and Windows and all?
because we are planning this course for Linux. Okay, Windows, if you want, you can launch a Windows. Same tools will work in Windows, but Windows is very rarely used in the market. We have used very less
Mm-hmm.
openings are coming. Existing company which started with Windows, they're using Windows, but most of the companies are coming with Linux today. So 99% of the market is Linux. Windows is hardly used,
Yeah, but
because if the existing employee, let's suppose you started your company with a Windows, you'll
and what
complete with
about the
Windows only.
virtualization?
So we are working on the
VMware.
virtualization. VMware, VMware is not required because you're moving into cloud. That is the existing of VMware,
Yes,
right? Because your data center is
yes,
what?
yes.
Because you can't maintain your infrastructure, own infrastructure. It's very headache for you. That's why we're moving to cloud, right? Everyone is leaving that virtualization and they're coming here. This cloud provides you high availability, your reduction of cost with your Docker Kubernetes, and you have a different mechanisms here to scale up and scale down using your auto scaling and virtual machine scale set, right? All these things will help you there. So this is providing the flexibility. That means now you'll be moving your virtual machine to your cloud technology where your people will be migrating. That's why people are asking Azure, right? Because they want to move from the old infrastructure process and move into the cloud. So no more people will be
So,
using your
so
machines. Yeah.
yeah, so in practice of doing all the tools with DevOps and no the cloud tools, right? So do we have some projects in our hand where we can go, and do the practical implementation or the practicing in a real-time environment? So do we have such
Yes.
availability of any projects, code base, etc.?
Yes, yes, we have a code base. You can get a lot of online code base online. Each and every lot of GitHub
Mm-hmm.
repos is there where you can fetch the codes and we'll be working. I'll be showing a lot of projects for you. You'll be working in that project. So end to end, we'll be showing you. First, we'll be learning each and every tool. Then we'll be connecting each and every tool. How one tools connect to each other and how you will be doing automated deployment using this tool on one project. Okay, we'll be taking one project because we want some Java code and everything, right? Some project is required. So we'll be taking
Yeah.
some Java code. On top of the Java code, we'll be playing our infrastructure. We'll playing our DevOps tool and infrastructure. Okay,
Okay.
fine. Yeah. Any other doubts, guys, before uh, I go? Okay. Okay, nothing is there apart from this. If you have any questions, this is the course model which we'll be learning. This is the structure which will follow. Okay. Any queries you have?
Now, with respect to the fee structures, so
That
we
will
need to
come back
talk to
with
the
the,
management or
yeah, management. HR team will come in place. They will take care of this management. Okay. They'll
okay.
speak with you. Already they might have your email ID when you registered, right? Email ID and your phone
So,
number.
so this course is out and out online or offline is also available.
This is all.
Maybe
This is
sometime
all.
we may need to talk to you, or whenever we kind of feel like interacting with you. Is there a possibility to meet or at the institute or?
I usually visit institutes, right? I'll be there in the institute as well. But this is
Mhm.
structured. This is very early morning, right? So
Yeah.
mostly this will be online only. And if you want to come offline, then I'll be available from 10 o'clock in the institute from 10 to
Okay.
12 somewhere, right? Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Right now, there is no plan for offline session. We have planned it only for online. Okay. Because this is March, right? So maybe from April or May, we'll be starting our offline batches. Already offline is running for different technologies, but not for Azure
Hmm.
right now.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Yeah. If no questions, then we can wind up. If I have questions, I'll.
So one quick question. In your experience, so there are two options majorly, right? AWS and Azure. So which tool is having more demand or more openings or how companies are using?
So now what I'm saying, Azure, AWS came in the market very beginning. Azure was not in the
Mm.
market. But what happened now? Everyone is addicted to AWS. Now what is happening? It's a model like first you use it, then you pay. Like your Geo came in the market where he gave completely SIM cards free. You started using it, you gave your contact details to everyone. But now you can't change your contact. Why? Because all the contacts went there. You're flexible to use it. Now slowly will increase the price, right? Geo will give his
Yeah.
plan. I'm increasing the
Mm.
price of that. Same thing happened with AWS. These people wanted there. Initially, they gave the free tire. They told we are giving discounts. Now the companies are addicted. They are charging very high for them because they are maintaining data center. They are providing you everything automated, right? So they'll be charging you very high. So company is facing that discounts are not coming. They're facing a lot of challenges in this AWS because at the end of the day is the cost, right? Even the company might have good market, but infrastructure cost is very high today. Your CPU memory RAM is very high, and these people are charging. If they're providing a service, I agree that they're providing the best service, but they're charging more because company has to be see the cost because they have to pay for employees, they have to pay for the building rent, they have to pay the project expenses, everything, right? So there is where
Yeah.
now Azure came into market, and Azure says I am also providing the same platform. Why don't you join us and you use our infrastructure with 50% discount? So where will you go? So cloud is cloud anywhere. You're just keeping your infrastructure. So people, companies who are starting, the new companies starting, they started with Azure. And most of the companies, this Azure is not new. This came almost 3 to 4 years back only, and it has good market in the market. And people because the discount is important. If today you're paying some $1 lakh, tomorrow you're paying 50,000 $50,000, which is best? Cost is
Yeah.
important, right?
So, and the
Business is
services and support provided is almost same between these two.
same. Same. Infrastructure is same. Platform might different because platform we don't need to worry. We are not developers, right? So infrastructure
Yeah.
is same across your cloud and your AWS and your GCP. Okay, GCP is also
Okay.
market, but GCP has very less services compared to this Azure and DevOps. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Any
if
doubt,
we
guys?
learn Azure means we can also work with AWS, right?
AWS.
Just in
Yeah,
case.
once you learn this Azure, similarly, same when you start learning that AWS, it will be same. Just give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Sorry for waiting you. Yeah, you can ask me questions. You there? Hello. You're on mute. Any questions, guys? Any more? Any more queries?
No queries.
Okay, so the it depends upon the cost, right? Cloud is cloud, server is servers. If you see a software, Windows software, Red Hat software, either the software is same, right? Operating system is same. Only the hardware resources are different. So only these people are providing you service. Either use your own data center or the cloud, doesn't make a difference. Only the cost is matters because cost is growing
Yes,
very
yes.
high today's world. There is where people are switching between the clouds. Okay, when your company can run in 50% discount, why do you want to go with AWS? That is only the thing. If the company has a good
Like
budget,
and
then it will go with it.
for
Yes.
another query, for the development part, so as
Okay.
you are saying that we don't need to like do any coding.
No,
Then where we get the coding for that, for, like for the new process, for the new product deployment and all. So do we get
you'll
any
get a code from
like
the GitHub.
developers?
No, no, we will
GitHub,
get
okay.
for our see. Any company will have its own developer. Okay, so they'll be
Yep.
writing their own code. So that is fine. For us, there'll be a Maven. When you create a Maven project, there itself by default some code will be given by the tool itself. Default code. They can use that code or in the GitHubs, right? Lot of projects we have for a developer's written code. That code we can turn and we can build it. So we have lot of projects there. A lot of projects which we can use and build. Okay, how to launch a website, how the launch website can launch, we have a lot of projects there. So we don't need to worry about the Java code. Okay, because I told, right, DevOps tools are open source. That means you'll get lot of information in the internet for learning this, for experimenting this. Like you do, it is
Okay.
not like Java, like you learn some concept and logic is different in your real time. It is not that. Whatever the tool you learn, the same look and feel will be in your company. Only thing, this is the trial version which you're going to learn. That is the enterprise version. That is only the difference, nothing much. Okay,
Okay.
So
nothing much.
at which level we need to get the scripting language expertise?
Scripting language is in your, what are the Linux commands you're going to learn. So let's suppose today you're installing some 10 DevOps tools. Okay, and you're
Hmm?
writing each and every command you're typing. Why don't you put that 10 commands in one file and run that as script? That is scripting. Scripting is not that
Okay.
difficult. It is just what the manual stuff what you're doing, put in that one file and make sure that steps are
Okay.
run in sequence automatically when you run that one file.
Just like a
That
batch
is,
file. Okay.
yes, exactly. Shell script batch is both same, right? Same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Like a batch file in Windows, you keep every commands and click, double click, right? It will install everything in one shot. Same thing it is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay, fine. Any other queries, guys?
Nothing, no.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So you can reach to institute, or institute people will reach you For further details, whatever we have queries regarding the fees and structure, timings, and everything, right? They'll give you the
Yeah,
more
sure.
information. Okay. And this course
Sure.
content they'll give you a drive link. You'll get the course content over there. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, please
Okay
do
then,
share.
guys. Yeah, yeah. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the
Thank you for
demo.
joining the
Yeah,
course.
bye.
Thank you
Have a
so
good day,
much.
Shiva. Bye.
Thank you.